Leave them to each other, Woland said, leaning towards the master's saddle from his own, pointing to where the procurator had gone. Let's not interfere with them. And maybe they'll still arrive at something. Here Woland waved his arm in the direction of your Shalem, and it went out. And there, too, Woland pointed behind them, what are you going to do in the little basement? Here the sun broken up in the glass went out. Why? Woland went on persuasively and gently, oh, thrice romantic master, can it be that you don't want to go strolling with your friend in the daytime under cherry trees just coming into bloom, and in the evening listen to Schubert's music? Can it be that you won't like writing with a goose quill by candlelight? Can it be that you don't want to sit over a retort like Faust, in hopes that you'll succeed in forming a new homunculus? There! There! The house and the old servant are already waiting for you, the candles are already burning, and soon they will go out, because you will immediately meet the dawn. Down this path, master, this one. Farewell. It's time for me to go. Farewell. Margarita and the master answered Woland in one cry. Then the black Woland, heedless of any road, threw himself into a gap, and his retinue noisily hurried down after him. There were no rocks, no platform, no path of moonlight, no Yerushalayim around. The black steeds also vanished. The master and Margarita saw the promised dawn. It began straight away, immediately after the midnight moon. The master walked with his friend in the brilliance of the first rays of morning over a mossy little stone bridge. They crossed it. The faithful lovers left the stream behind and walked down the sandy path. Listen to the stillness, Margarita said to the master, and the sand rustled under her bare feet. Listen and enjoy what you were not given in life, peace. Look, there ahead is your eternal home, which you have been given as a reward. I can already see the Venetian window and the twisting vine, it climbs right up to the roof. Here is your home, your eternal home. I know that in the evenings you will be visited by those you love, those who interest you and who will never trouble you. They will play for you, they will sing for you, you will see what light is in the room when the candles are burning. You will fall asleep, having put on your greasy and eternal nightcap, you will fall asleep with a smile on your lips. Sleep will strengthen you, you will reason wisely. And you will no longer be able to drive me away. I will watch over your sleep. Thus spoke Margarita, walking with the Master to their eternal home, and it seemed to the Master that Margarita's words flowed in the same way as the stream they had left behind flowed and whispered, and the Master's memory, the Master's anxious, needled memory began to fade. Someone was setting the Master free, as he himself had just set free the hero he had created. This hero had gone into the abyss, gone irrevocably, the son of the astrologer king, forgiven on the eve of Sunday, the cruel fifth procurator of Judea, the equestrian Pontius Pilate. Epilogue. But all the same, what happened later in Moscow, after that Saturday evening when Woland left the capital, having disappeared from Sparrow Hills at sunset with his retinue? Of the fact that, for a long time, a dense hum of the most incredible rumors went all over the capital and very quickly spread to remote and forsaken provincial places as well, nothing need be said. It is even nauseating to repeat such rumors. The writer of these truthful lines himself, personally, on a trip to Feodosia, heard a story on the train about 2,000 persons in Moscow coming out of a theater stark naked in the literal sense of the word and in that fashion returning home in taxicabs. The whisper unclean powers was heard in queues waiting at dairy stores, in tramcars, shops, apartments, kitchens, on trains both suburban and long distance, in stations big and small, at summer resorts and on beaches. The most developed and cultured people, to be sure, took no part in this tale telling about the unclean powers that had visited Moscow, even laughed at them and tried to bring the tellers to reason. But all the same, a fact, as they say, is a fact, and to brush it aside without explanations is simply impossible. Someone had visited the capital. The nice little cinders left over from Gribodov's, and many other things as well, confirmed that only too eloquently. Cultured people adopted the view of the investigation. It had been the work of a gang of hypnotists and ventriloquists with a superb command of their art. Measures for catching them, in Moscow as well as outside it, were of course immediately and energetically taken, but, most regrettably, produced no results. The one calling himself Wolin disappeared with all his company and neither returned to Moscow nor appeared anywhere else, and did not manifest himself in any way. Quite naturally, the suggestion emerged that he had fled abroad, but there, too, he gave no signs of himself. The investigation of his case continued for a long time. Because, in truth, it was a monstrous case. Not to mention 4 burned down buildings and hundreds of people driven mad, there had been murders. Of 2 this could be said with certainty, of Berlioz, and of that ill-fated employee of the Bureau for Acquainting Foreigners with Places of Interest in Moscow, the former Baron Magel. They had been murdered. The charred bones of the latter were discovered in apartment number 50 on Sadovaya Street after the fire was put out. Yes, there were victims, and these victims called for investigation. But there were other victims as well, even after Wolin left the capital, and these victims, sadly enough, were black cats. Approximately 100 of these peaceful and useful animals, devoted to mankind, were shot or otherwise exterminated in various parts of the country. About a dozen cats, some badly disfigured, were delivered to police stations in various cities. For instance, in Armavir one of these perfectly guiltless beasts was brought to the police by some citizen with its front paws tied. This cat had been ambushed by the citizen at the very moment when the animal, with a thievish look, how can it be helped if cats have this look? It is not because they are depraved, but because they are afraid lest some being stronger than themselves, dogs or people, cause them some harm or offense. Both are very easy to do, but I assure you there is no credit in doing so, no, none at all. So, then, with a thievish look the cat was for some reason about to dash into the burdock. Falling upon the cat and tearing his necktie off to bind it, the citizen muttered venomously and threateningly. Aha!